This is BoomerLife on Aug15th2016.
Hey, now all you got to do is call.
This is BoomerLife on Aug15th2016. I'm Joanne Sutton. Thanks for being with us today. Today's topic is all about what it's like to live with Alzheimer's disease or other dementias when you're outside of a major market, living somewhere in small-town British Columbia. We've learned there's pros and cons when it comes to services and community. Now we get a chance to hear from someone with the health authority. Maria Howard, CEO of the Alzheimer's Society, is with me in the studio today. And now we're joined on the phone by Juanita Little. Hi, Juanita. Thanks for calling in.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me to join in on it.
Excellent. So, Juanita, I appreciate you joining us today to talk about providing healthcare services for those living with dementia in rural communities in the province. I understand that Juanita brings over 20 years' experience in rural health. So I wondered maybe if you wanted to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and the region where you provide your services.
Sure. I'm an RN in Interior Health, and I'm in Ashcroft. And so our area covers Clinton, Cache Creek, Ashcroft. It goes to this side of Savannah and then to Spence's Bridge. So we have quite a vast area that we cover. We only have 2 RNs in the office. We're both 0.8s, and we only overlap 1 day a week. So usually there's only 1 RN in the office to kind of cover that area and do the assessments and run the clinics and stuff.
Sounds like you're quite busy.
Yeah, it's really busy.
Tell me, what do you mean by a 0.8? What is that?
So full-time is a 1.0,
okay.
And so we are like 80% of a full-time RN there.
So in all your community visits, because that's quite a vast area to cover, what does this entail as a registered nurse? Like what types of services are you actually having to provide?
We provide, so if anytime somebody's discharged from hospital, we do wound care. We do PICC lines, so people are receiving chemotherapy or IV antibiotics. They have PICC lines, so we will do their dressings, draw their blood work. Sometimes they'll have IVADs, which is a surgically inserted device into their chest where they can access for chemo or blood work, so we access those as well. Then we are also responsible for all the home care stuff. So if people are needing home support services in the home, we do the assessments for that. So that entails going to the home to do the home visit to check to see if the environment is safe for our workers. Then figuring out what kinds of services they need, as well as then if they're needing more care, so going to assisted living facilities or going to long-term care facilities, we do the paperwork for that and the financial end of that and everything to keep that going as well. So
wow.
It's quite a broad...
it's quite extensive.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Juanita, some of the challenges are that healthcare providers face in small communities that may differ from their counterparts in urban centers, like being in the lower mainland, the mainland? Like, what's different for you working there as opposed to working in the city?
I think one of the biggest hurdles that rural health hits is the lack of resources. You know, we don't have social work, we don't have respiratory department, we have limited physio. Sometimes we have limited numbers of doctors. We just went through a crunch here where we were down to 1 doctor. We have limited hospital hours, so our hospital right now is only open Fridays from 6 p.m. till Monday morning at 8 a.m., which really limits the services for this area, because then during the week, if you need anything for emergency services, you have to travel an hour or more away, right? And so that includes even sometimes if you're needing IV antibiotics or any of those kinds of things, or if you're acutely ill, we have no acute care beds, so you have to usually go to Kamloops, Merritt, Willowitt, someplace else to get those kinds of services. So it's very difficult for an area. We have a lot of seniors in our area as well that don't drive or have to rely on somebody to drive them. So sometimes they wait too long. We'll have somebody have chest pain on Wednesday and they wait till Friday when our emergency department is open to come in to be seen, and they have had a heart attack, and so they need to go on to a bigger center. That makes it a challenge as well, right? We work alone a lot, in our department. I mean, we have colleagues here, but you're working alone in networking and partnerships with a lot of people, which is really important. Having somebody else at the other end of the phone to call to say, hey, I have this, what do you think? Or working closely with our docs that come over and see this wound, it's not looking as good, or I have concerns about so-and-so in the home. Can we try these meds, whatever? That's definitely a challenge for sure.
So, Juanita, you actually mentioned that there were a high number of seniors that are living in that interior region. What is your experience with dementia?
The dementia, I've watched over the last 3 or 4 years, I would say it has really significantly increased. I think a lot of our diagnoses that come are dementia clients coming through the office that are needing help, families needing help with what are the resources out there. I need some help, respite services, having access with that. And then we also have people who live out, on acreages and things like that, so they're alone with their spouses or family or whatever, that it makes it difficult to get to them, to get some of the help that they need, right?
So then tell me about your connection with the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia. What role do you think they play in your work, and do you feel like having the support provided by the Society in your community actually helps you?
Yeah, so the Alzheimer's Society has been great. Tara Hildebrand in Kamloops has been a great resource. She comes out and does some caregiver support groups with us in town. She's come out and did workshops for the groups, for the people, which really greatly helps us with the families, so that they get a better understanding of what is dementia, what does this look like, where are we going, what do we need to do to plan for the future. And she's really great at the information, and the resources that the Alzheimer's Society has, like the early stages, the middle stages, the late stages, the newsletters, the teleworkshops. I've phoned in a couple of different workshops from home just to listen to see what things that they advise as well to help us with the clients. That it's such a great resource to have. And like I say, in the rural health, because you're networking with people, you need those partnerships and networks to help the people of your community. The advantage of living in a small rural area is that you kind of get to know your people clinically, but you also get to know them personally, right? So they're your neighbors, they're your staff, family members, or things like that. So in a small town, sometimes it works out good as well with people who have dementia, because other people get to know that, okay, they have dementia or Alzheimer's, so people will help a little bit as well. I find, there's extra eyes on people, so sometimes you'll see somebody out and you know that that's so-and-so's spouse, and, oh, gee, where's the other spouse, or where's the daughter, or whatever, and so then they'll go and contact the family and say, oh, I saw someone out, they were out walking by the bakery and I didn't see you with them, or those kinds of things.
Oh, it's so interesting that you even mentioned that, because we just spoke with Heather Inglis, and Heather was telling us a very similar story, because she's the caregiver of her mother who has Alzheimer's, and she was painting the exact same picture that you do get to know everybody personally as well, because you're in the small town and everybody seems to help everybody else out.
It is. It's true. It's funny because I tell my grandma doesn't have Alzheimer's, but one day a family friend stopped by my office and said, I haven't seen her out. Her newspaper's still laying on her front step from yesterday. I just wanted you to know in case something happened, right? So down I went, and oh yeah, it was just she wasn't feeling good or whatever. But that was an extra set of eyes that was out there to help with that. Mm-hmm. And like I say, I've had clients, that know that the other community members know that they have. So it helps with, okay, well, I'll pick up your mom and bring them to adult day program, or I saw them out walking and they were heading towards such and such, so I redirected them back to the house, and then I'll give the family member a call or stop by their work or whatever to say, gee, this has happened, I saw this happened, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it is, I think, helpful that way.
Absolutely. So other than your work, have you had a personal connection to Alzheimer's disease or other dementias?
Just with the family that I work with closely here, because like I say, you get to know them personally. So you see them out in the community. So they'll ask for information or advice at you're at fun fairs or the grocery store or whatever. That portion of it. So
it sounds like you love what you do.
Yeah, I do. I like being able to help people and network with them, and it helps when you have groups like the Alzheimer's Society and different groups like that able to help you help them to pick up and help deliver the care they need.
That's excellent. Well, Juanita, thank you very much for your contributions today. They've been very helpful.
Oh, you're welcome.
Excellent.
That helped with a lot of information.
You've given us a ton of information. You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton, and thanks to Juanita Little for joining us on the show today from Ashcroft, where she works as a registered nurse for Interior Health. Next month, it's a very busy one for the Alzheimer's Society BC, and we're going to be talking about Coffee Break, which is the perfect event to host in every small community in the province. A chance for you to help give back. That's all coming up next on Boomer Life on CL 650.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.